Good morning, everyone. In this tutorial session, we'll discuss about the topic from Unit 5, and this topic is NoSQL databases. So, NoSQL databases are different from the traditional databases that we have practiced and we have seen. We have created tables within those databases and stored the information. So, basically, the known databases are tabular databases. So for storing any kind of information, we need to create tables for that. In a NoSQL databases are designed such that they are non-tabular and store data differently than relational tables. So why is it so? Because when we are dealing with the known databases, basically we want when we are dealing with the NoSQL databases, basically we are dealing with the information which can be generated from any sources that can be generated from as a big data. So sometimes we have a semi-structured or unstructured data set, and we have to store those information. That's why we require a non-tabular database. NoSQL databases comes in a variety. So there are different kinds of types of NoSQL databases, and the types can be categorized into document NoSQL databases, key value databases, white column based databases, and graph based databases. So basically, all these types of data model will provide you a way to store the unstructured information. So we'll see what is the basic idea behind these data models and how they are valuable while storing the information. NoSQL databases provide flexible schemas and scale easily with large amount of data. So when we are dealing with the big data, we are dealing with a large amount of information, as well as we are dealing with the more number of users that are accessing those information. So we need to be very flexible while we are designing the schema for our database. So NoSQL databases, our database is designed such that they follow the flexible schemas as per the application requirement. So if they are follow the flexible schemas other than the relational databases, then the picture is quite clear that they will store the information in different format other than the relational databases. It allow developer to store huge amount of unstructured data. So basically, why we are creating a NoSQL databases or non-tabular databases, because we are dealing with the unstructured data to store and process. Next. So we have discussed the types of NoSQL databases. So first is the document databases, store data in documents. So basically every document is made of fields and values. So suppose you want to store a social profile of any user. So you can create a field regarding the information, and you should provide the values at corresponding to those fields in the information. The most popular document database are MongoDB. So I think some of you have already aware about MongoDB, and many of you have practiced with the MongoDB as your mini project. But I will I want a volunteer support from your side so that we can install the MongoDB, and we'll do a basic talk. What are the basic tasks that can be performed using the MongoDB that can be discussed within that. So I need a volunteer support from you. Second categories of NoSQL databases are key value databases. So each item contains key and values. So for example, if you have worked in the Python, you have seen a data type that is a dictionary. So if you are creating any data type which is in the form of key values, so it is very easy for a developer and the application to find out any values corresponding to those keys. So you have to search the key and you will find out those information. Now there is a problem arises if there is a n number of items within a databases and n is very large or n is quite large for a big data. So again, it will become a complex task to find to search the value based on the keys because key can be anywhere. So you have to find some way in that you can search a key in a faster way. So can you suggest me if there is a n number of key values stored in a database, then what can be the possible ways uh, to search a key in a faster way? Any suggestion from your side? Any response? My question is, if each item contains key values in a databases and there are n number of key values where n is quite large, so how can you search a key in a faster way? We have already discussed about it. So I am expecting some response from your side. You can use the chat box as well as you can uh, express your view using your microphone. Please, at least one or two response. If we have n number of key values and there is a n is quite large, so what is a possible way to store the information so that we can access that key in a faster way? Because if you restore as a key value, then what will happen? You have to again search the every key. Okay. And maybe possible is sometimes if we have arrange a key in alphabetical order or any predefined order, so maybe possible that order will not maintain after certain certain processing with data. So that will also response, please. At least one or two response in the chat box. Okay, so one way to store those keys using their hash. So if we'll take a hash value of those keys, so searching through the hash is quite easier and it's a quite faster operation compared to the searching a string or a numerical. So again, will a key value databases reduces the complex queries, requirement of complex queries to retrieve the values. Okay, so you don't need to write any query, you just need to find out the keys and so on. So you can fire a simple queries rather than the complex query that is being used in the relational database. So popular key value databases are Redis and DynamoDB. So if we are discussing these examples, so I will assume that you will write a brief overview about these different kinds of databases as an assignment. So write what you understand by MongoDB. So write down what is MongoDB, what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages. Then you will study about the Redis and DynamoDB. So you will write the advantage and disadvantage of DynamoDB. Next. Okay. Third type of databases are white column stores. So basically, white column store are designed to store data in table, row, and dynamic column. So here your column can be dynamic, so it's not fixed. You can manipulate the columns. You can do operation with the columns. Each row is not required to have the same columns. So imagine that suppose you are storing a profile of a user. So maybe if you define a fixed column, so what will happen? You have to fill every value regarding those columns. So maybe it's possible that some users do not pertain any value for certain columns. So it's a better idea to remove those columns, and what are the required column is what is the availability of information. Based on that, you can decide your column for each row. So what kind of application that can use the white column store NoSQL databases? These applications are Internet of Things and user profile data. So you can find out that these are the data set which are generating the information with different properties. So when you are dealing with such kind of information, so they are having a different property. So common example of white column store databases are Cassandra and HBase. So again, write down a brief overview about Cassandra and HBase in your assignment. Next categories of databases are graph database. So as when we are think about a graph, we are think about the nodes and edges. So there are certain nodes within the graph, and there are certain edges which is connecting those nodes. So you can find out that you can define the data set within the as a graph. Uh, Such kind of database data set is related to social networks and cyber security and some recommendation engines. So using those nodes and graph idea to store the information. So graph databases are designed for such kind of application. So common example of graph databases are Neo4j and Janus Graph. So again, I will suggest you that please write down few description about these databases, their working, their advantage and their disadvantage. Next. Now, we'll discuss about the Amazon S3. So, basically, Amazon S3 is again a kind of storage solution offered by the Amazon to store the unstructured, structured, and semi-structured information. So, Amazon S3 stands for Amazon Simple Storage Services. So it is a service from the Amazon Web Services (AWS). So I think all of you are aware about the AWS, Amazon Web Services. So basically, AS3 provide object storage through a web service interface. So what is mean of this line? That suppose you have a web application, you have an Android application, and you can directly connect to the Amazon S3 storage services, and you can store your information. So using those services, you can use as those services as a storage solution. So many applications we are currently seeing in the current market, they are using the Amazon S3 as a storage solution. So basically, the entity of storage is the object. So you can store any type of object. Uh, Suppose you want to working on the internet application, backup recovery, disaster recovery, data archive, data lakes, or hybrid cloud storage. So all these kind of application can generate the object, and these object can be stored using the Amazon S3. So basically, S3 was launched in 2007 by the Amazon. So in 2006 and again 2007 in Europe. So it will manage the data with an object storage architecture, and it is very scalable and high available and low latency. So scalability is a 99.999%, and durability, and availability is a 99.95% to 99.99%. So the common question is that uh, what is why it's not 100%? Because it's not possible to design a device which is 100% available or 100% scalable, because maybe possible that after certain duration uh, there will be some fault which can be caused by any event. That event can be related to the human errors. That event can be related to a device fault or any natural disaster. So that can take sometimes the power outage is one of the factors that will down the services. So again, it's not can't be 100%, but 99.95% are a good percentage of availability of these services. So we can rely on Amazon S3 storage services for our application. So basic storage unit or objects, and these are identified by unique user assigned key. So when you are storing any of information and object, it will be assigned as a unique assigned user key. So whenever you want to access those information, you need to provide the key related to that particular object. So S3 provide option to host static HTML website with the index document support. So this is the one application using the Amazon S3. It allows users to enable or disable logging. If enable, the logs are stored, which can be analyzed. So if you want to store the log information, you can use the Amazon S3 to enable or disable the logging features. Okay. So Amazon S3 provides application programming interface for developer. So by using these API, you can develop a storage solution for your application. So you can access those API on the Amazon S from the Amazon S3, and how these API work and what is the structure of those APIs. I need a voluntary support from your side so that you can access those. We can discuss those things in a class session. The AWS console provide tool for managing and uploading files, but it can not capable of managing large bucket or editing file. So you can upload and manage the file, but it's not capable to provide any editing within the information on the AWS console. So you have to access those information on your own and terminal, and then you can perform the desired operation. So some common application that are using the Amazon S3 are photo hosting services and Netflix, as we are all aware about the Netflix, Reddit, and Tumblr, and Pinterest. So these are some most famous application by that is using the Amazon S3 as their storage services. So they have their own interfaces that is offering the GUI or user interfaces to the user, and for the storage purpose they are using the Amazon S3 to store the information. Next. So now we'll discuss the next topic, that is a introduction to R. So if you have any question and answer, you can use the chat box to write the question and answer or anything that we can discuss here. You can also unmute the mic and speak if you have any doubt and question. The topic discussed till or should we move to the toward the introduction to R? That will be the last topic from Unit 5. Okay, any question, any doubt? Okay, so we are starting the new topic, that is the introduction to R. So, as we are all aware about the programming languages, and we have done some programming in programming languages such as C, Java, .NET, and Python. So R is having the same phenomena of those programming languages, and it is used to develop application for statistical analysis. So suppose you want to work in a data analysis, so you can use the R programming language to process large amount of information. So when we are dealing with the data analytics application, basically we are dealing with the fetching those information, loading the data set, and again uh, cleaning the data set as per the requirement, and then we'll go for the graphical representation of those data set, and finally the reporting, finally the output. So output can be your graph based output, or you can develop any images as an output. So R was developed by Ross Haka and Robert Gentleman at the University of Auckland, New Zealand. So it is developed from University of Auckland from New Zealand, and after that it will be contributed by the community. So uh, a large number of developers come together and they have contributed the code and the bugs to the R language, and it is acquired by the there is a art certain some number of researchers come together and they have formed the art development core team, and these team is developing the R and providing the update as per the development. So it is a open source, freely available, but you have to follow the GNU General Public Licenses. So for the GNU, you can refer what are the terms and conditions of General Public licenses, and you can use the R language. So it is a pre-compiled binary version provided for various operating systems like Linux, Windows, and Mac. So you can use the R programming language from using the Linux or the Windows or Mac. So for most common operating system, R language is available. So you can install the software that is using the providing the R interface, and you can work on it. Some common example is the R Studio. So you can install the R Studio to work with the R programming language. The question arises why its name is R. So basically, there are two authors. Uh, so these authors' name are Robert and Ross. So their first letter of their name is considered as to name this language. So that's why this language name has a R. And it was developed. Initial development of this language was done in a Bell Laboratories, and the language was S. Then again, after certain duration, it was evolved into the R programming language. So R is an expression language with a very simple syntax and a case sensitive. So case sensitive means suppose you have declared a variable as a capital A and you have declared a variable as a small a. So variable capital A will never be equal to variable small a. So basically, if you want to work with the R programming language, you have to access a integrated suite of software, and these software will provide you following content. It will facilitate for data manipulation, calculation, and graphical display. So when we are dealing with statistical data of any experiment outcome. So basically, we have to perform manipulation within the data so that we can take some kind of probability distribution of those data, and we can ignore those values that are not providing a impact within the data. We have to perform some calculation within the data, and after that logical approach, we can go for the graphical display. Again, our integrated suite of software will provide us effective data handling and storage facility. So when we are dealing with the data handling, so R is designed primarily to handle the data. So it has more interactive features uh, compared to other languages. So you can find the various operators within the R that is required to process the information. It's a large, coherent, integrated collection of intermediate tools for data analysis. It provides a graphical interface to see how the data is look like on directly on our computer, or you can take a printout of those data output. R is regarded as an implementation of S language. So S language was basically developed in Bell Laboratory by the Rick Becker. So R is developed as a base using the S languages, but it was popular, so it is known as a R language. Okay, so that's all for today. If you have any question and answer, this session will be open for another 10 minutes. Thank you for joining the session.